as you can see on the screen, we have multiple organizations partnering for this session. Thank you all for being here. We're each going to have 1 minute and 1 minute only to present our organization, because the point of this event is to have a conversation and to have young people talking and taking action. So if you go above 1 minute, I will stop you. But we're all young on this panel anyway, so I'm really glad about that. Let's kick off with the Scouts, if this works. Oh, I haven't presented myself. I should have done that. My name is Ines Diavad. I am a Next Generation Fellow with the United Nations Foundation and work with Restless Development. And I will talk more about Restless later. But let's move on to our first partner for today, the Scouts.
Thank you, Ines. With my scarf, you can recognize which organization we belong to. We are Scouts. We are a world organization of the Scout movement. We have 57 million young people in our movement around the world in 172 countries. And we are empowering them to take local actions and work for their communities, which ultimately resulted in 2.7 billion service hours and 16.4 million service projects. So this is a short introduction of our organization. Looking forward to the panel discussion. Thank you.
Thank you so much. We've also got WAGGGS here with us today, and you have 1 minute to present yourself.
Hi, everybody. It's a pleasure to be here. I'm Charisse Andrew from Dominica, and I am a delegate from the World Association of Girl Guides and Girl Scouts. We are the largest women's volunteer movement in the world. So I'm proud to be representing 10 million girls today. Yes, I am the climate advocacy champion for the Girl-Led Action Change project. The project is designed to help or to empower girls to be more resilient to tackle climate change in 12 countries. And the program has 3 pillars. That is the education curriculum. We have the advocacy campaigns, and also community actions. Thank you. It's a pleasure to be here.
Thank you. So I said I work for Restless Development. We don't have that many young women and girls, but we have so many young people that we work with all over the world who are trying to tackle any of the SDGs. So I love my job because every day I get to work with young people who are passionate about whether it be climate, education, jobs, gender, water, any of the SDGs, and working together to achieve them. And what I love of always coming to these sessions in the Children and Youth Pavilion is that I see those young people around us. So if you want to learn more about Restless, you can definitely head up to our website or meet me later. But I will be talking a lot today, so I'll pass it over to our last partner, the Future Leaders Network.
Hi, everyone. I'm Sophie Dowd. I'm the Chief Executive Officer at the Future Leaders Network. We're a not-for-profit organization aimed at discovering and developing the next generation of leaders. We're based in the United Kingdom, but we have a reach all over the world through our work with the G7 and G20. Here at COP, we're supporting young leaders in 2 different ways. Firstly, we have a fantastic delegation of young observers through our FLN delegation. And secondly, we are delivering the Climate Youth Negotiator Program, a program aimed at equipping young people to become the next generation of climate change negotiators, with 55 young negotiators here today from 27 countries.
Amazing. Thank you so much. So I'm going to say thank you so much to each organization who's helped organize this event, but it's time to hear stories of young people. So you can head over to our audience, and we're going to have 4 young people come and kind of answer a question each, all different questions. Keep them in mind because later we're going to, oops, I think my mic stopped working. It's not working, right? You can't hear me. Now you can. Okay, small tech glitch. So later on, we're going to have conversations around these questions as well. So you can hear, but also think about what your answer to the question would be. The person I'd love to invite is Angela, who I see in the audience now. And I would love to hear from you. Would you describe yourself as an optimist or a pessimist when thinking about the future, and why?
Hello, I'm Angela. I'm from the United States, so the global north. I think to be working on climate is to inherently be somewhat optimistic in the sense that you think that you can be part of the solution, but I also think that the vast majority of people, young people working in this space, have become slowly more and more pessimistic due to the lack of action that we're seeing at these multilateral events. And that sense of cruel optimism is something that I hope we can fix, because there's a lot of burnout, a lot of mental health anxiety due to the climate crisis, and hopefully we can make a difference. Thank you.
I need to learn how to work this mic. Thank you, Angela. We will have a second person answer question now. Grecia, where are you? Yay! And to introduce yourself as well. I would love to know what inspired you to become a climate activist. No, we can.
Hola, hola, yes. Hey, how are you? Good morning, everyone. So before I explain why I become an activist, I would like to ask you to do a small activity. So I would like you to close your eyes and just go back to the moment when you really fall in love with nature. Like, try to identify how were you feeling, where were you, with who you were. Maybe it was your mom, your dad, your grandpa. What was the smell like? What were you feeling? Was it warm? Was it fresh? Was it cold? Was it wet? And then just try to stay in that feeling and really think on that memories that really change and remain with us the whole time. Now you can open your eyes. How does it feel? Nice? Relaxed? Safe? Okay, so one of the main reasons I start becoming an activist is because when I fall in love with nature, I really feel I was safe. I was in a quiet space. I was sharing with my grandmother. So for me, that is a feeling that I always want to keep with me. It doesn't matter where I am. And through scouting, I was able to do community service, whatever that means when you are very young, like 5, 7 years old. And I was able to see the differences and how people cannot get access to water, to food, to fresh air, that they cannot grow crops or anything. So for me, it was like a little bit of a clash, because I had first this feeling, falling in love with nature, but then a lot of people not getting access to that feeling or that situation. So this is one of the main reasons. Yeah. Thank you.
Thank you so much, Grecia. I don't need that mic. Thank you. Great. And as Grecia has now made you close your eyes and maybe you're feeling a bit sleepy, I want to try something. When I see people a bit sleepy, I'm going to say youth, and you're going to shout power. Okay, let's try it. Youth. Power. Youth. Power. Okay, most of you are awake. And for those of you who were asleep, I'm sorry, that was an abrupt wake up. But we have our third story or person who's going to answer a question. We have Natalie. Are you in the... Yes, you're in the stands. I would love to know about any people or events that shaped and kickstarted your journey as a climate activist.
Okay. Hi, everyone. So first, thank you so much for having me. I'm very, very happy to be here. I'm very happy. Okay. Thank you so much for having me. So as a biologist, the issue of climate change has always been a concern for me. It's hard to ignore the scientific facts when you study them on a day-to-day basis. But it was only after I completed the CYNP training that I started to carry the badge of a climate activist. And although I received a lot of valuable information, a lot of tools, competencies, networking, and connections from this program, I really think that it was the people behind this program that empowered me to be here today. So for that, I'd really like to thank the CYNP team, because thanks to you, I feel like I'm able to contribute to this movement. I'm able to bring about transformative change, because this team never failed to remind us on a day-to-day basis that our voices will be heard, that in a room full of world leaders, our presence will be noticed, and that people want to listen to you. All you need to do is just take the initiative to speak up. And I genuinely feel like if it wasn't for the entire CYNP team, I wouldn't be able to be standing here in front of you today, because before this program, I never had the confidence to speak in front of a room full of people. So climate activism isn't just about the knowledge, it isn't just about the information, but it's also about the people that support you. It's about your team, it's about good leadership, it's about your mentors. And I think it's really important to emphasize that without community building, this movement wouldn't exist. So thank you so much.
Woohoo! Thank you, Natalie. And we have a final speaker for today before you will all have to speak too. I would love to invite Mercedes to answer the question about your future vision of the world. If you had the capacity, what would you change to make the world more resilient to climate change?
Thank you for your question. It's Charisse. I will start off with a little story of my country back home. In Dominica, we rely on our natural resources for food security and employment, because we're known as the nature isle of the Caribbean. So it's sad that because of the effects of climate change, we are no longer able to make a living in farming and agriculture. It's very inefficient. For example, we have very extreme droughts. It dries our farmland. Also, it wilts our crops. And just imagine a woman with a family that has to buy very expensive material or equipment to just irrigate her farm. So it's very difficult for us. Also, we have very intense hurricanes that I have actually a story with, back in 2017, we were struck with a Category 5 hurricane called Hurricane Maria, and it devastated Dominica. All our farmland was destroyed. I think 76% of women, they lost all their equipment, their farmlands, and their infrastructure, everything. So it really touches my heart, especially for the immigrant women in Dominica that has work restrictions on farming, so they're only able to farm, and they're stuck, not stuck, but they're living in an unfair, environment, an unfair situation. And I feel like it's like they want change, but they don't know that change can occur. So my vision for the future is I want to see governments employ or fund women agencies or girl voices. I want to see more free, actually, climate smart courses or educational programs for agriculture in Dominica and around the world, because this is a reality around the world as well. And I want to see more girls, or I want to bring in the girls or bring in girl voices into the climate change conversation. Thank you.
Thank you. Great. Well, you've been sitting here for 21 minutes on my clock. It's time now for us to have a conversation. As I see some people are still a bit distracted, I'm going to try once more. If I say youth, Youth? It might make people want to come inside. You're welcome. I see those of you outside. We're just about to have a conversation answering a series of questions like the ones that you just heard now. There are people dotted around the room that are going to help guide this discussion. So if you could just raise your hand if you're going to help us with that so that people know who to huddle around. Amazing. Brilliant. Thank you. Great. So we're going to have 4 different groups answering these 4 different questions, and we'll have about 20 minutes. So you have enough time to kind of dive into it. Make sure you present yourself, who you are, what your name is, and then answer briefly so that everyone has a chance to speak. And I will stop talking now and allow you to continue the discussion. For those of you online, while people in the room are getting ready, you will also be able to participate via this QR code link. So if you scan it, you'll get into a Mentimeter, and you can answer those questions. And I hope you are participating. You can write your name, and I'll be able to see your answers on the screen and share them live here at COP27. Let's start the conversation.
And then I'll come.
For those who would like to answer the question on what inspired you to be a climate change maker, you can come over to this side. Otherwise, just huddle around you. You'll have a meaningful conversation wherever you are. I think you have a huddle. I'm going to talk to the live stream.
Directly to suit or to communicate to the younger people. We will have a lot more people, young people engaged in climate change discussions, and hopefully in government we get them on the table, and then we can start to see some real changes happening in our countries. Thank you.
Thank you so much. Thank you so much. I can take that. And thank you to everyone else from the government of Kenya who's made it today. We'd love to hear from young people as well of these conversations. I know Amar is somewhere. Amar, are you around? Yes, I would love to hear from you and your group. How did it go?
So basically, we were people from everywhere. We're from Fiji, we're from Brussels, from Africa, from everywhere. But what really connected us is climate justice. We all want climate justice. We all want youth empowerment. We all want youth from all backgrounds to be on the table. And what really I feel that everyone was empathic enough and passionate to listen for other people that they are working with the EU, and people they are working in local organization in Africa, people they are working to empower youth negotiators to be in the table, and people like me who are just taking videos and like a social media influencer to amplify the voices and of every youth to be heard and to take action. One thing little I wanted to add in just 10 seconds, we have to say that it's good to say that we are the leaders of tomorrow. Yes, we are, but we have to take action, and we have to understand that we are also the leaders of today. We have to negotiate today, and we have to take climate action today. Thank you.
Thank you so much. I would love to invite Grecia as well. I think I saw you earlier from your group to feedback on your conversation.
Thank you, and thank you everyone who participated. I think we had a great conversation. So the main questions were, tell us, sorry. Dun, dun. So we define how does an environmental climate activist looks like, and we mentioned several attitudes and ways of this person to being. The first one is that this person, it always reminds to take personal actions. It always goes beyond than expected. It is highly connected to environmental stuff in general. This person is knowledgeable, and it implements, and it's coherent with what he or she says, and it always takes responsibility on other harming actions. We also then, after we define how this person looks like, we talk about skills that a climate activist should have. And the first one is that this person has a core values defined. He or she knows what are their main values, and he or she attaches to it. Secondly, it's very highly, it is a really good person to communicate. It has effective communication skills, and it's able to deliver key messages to the people he or she works with. He or she is very highly social, and he has highly digital skills. It's open-minded, it's tolerant, but he also respects the differences that can have within the group that works with, and it's very patient and has active listening, and it's also a resilience person because it keeps fighting and fighting for the goals. And the rest, she really grabbed it up well. We talk about the challenges and the benefits of being a climate activist. So great, thank you.
Thank you so much. I know from some groups, it's not the moderator is going to feed back. I heard from Mercedes, someone in her group would love to speak up. And I didn't mention, we do have a couple prizes for one person in each group who's been the most engaged. So do stay until the end so we can give that to you. Mercedes, who's coming from your group? Please go ahead.
Hello, everyone. My name is Mana Omar. I'm from Kenya. I'd like to give a few key takeaways from our group. And we are mostly consisted of delegates from Kenya as well. And some key takeaways were the older generation need to open up their hearts. They need to give us spaces. They need to break that cultural mindset of pushing away young people or looking at us like we don't know anything. We also need to access people of power, like leaders here. We also need to have youths like us in decision-making spaces. Yeah, those were the key takeaways. Thank you.
I had escaped from the mic. Devika, I know we have your group as well. Is there anyone from your group who'd like to come? Devika was around earlier. Otherwise, I would love to ask the Cabinet Secretary, Soipan Tuya, to give us some thoughts. Okay.
Thank you so much. My name is Vicky, and I'm from Kenya. What we discussed with our group are 3 critical points. The first one, inclusivity is key when we talk about climate change. We must leave no one behind, especially those who are often left behind, the young people with disabilities, the young people from marginalized contexts. The second, There is a need for sustainable and strategic partnerships when we think about this, realizing that we live in a global community, so we must collaborate to achieve the climate agenda. The third and the most critical, young people need to be front and center when we talk about climate change at all the processes from the design to the implementation. And last but not the least, the policies should not just be policies, but translate to collective and sustainable action. Thank you.
Thank you. Amazing. So I think that is all the groups, but I know everything was so lively today. We'd love to do one last thing. Your moderators have some post-it notes, and we'd love you to answer a question on them. If the moderators can stand up with the post-it notes so that people know where they are, yeah, and start handing those post-it notes out. You can answer the question either, if you had a magic wand, what would you do to tackle this issue? Or also, what are we going to do intergenerationally in terms of taking action? As these post-its are being handed out, I would love to pass to the Cabinet Secretary of the Kenyan delegation, Soipan Tuya, if you'd like to give some thoughts as well.
Thank you very much, our young people. I have attended very many roundtables, but this is the most fiery, most energetic. I feel fired up. So I'm the Cabinet Secretary for Environment and Forestry from Kenya. I'm happy to be here. The only thing I can think about right now is the ambitions that we keep pushing as a country. And right now, we are pushing to plant 15 billion trees in 10 years. And broken down, we are doing 1 billion trees every year. It's right in my hands, and you know what? Seeing these young people here, you are the people that give us a constant reminder of the intra and intergenerational equity that we must respect, we must uphold in the whole of this discussion. And in our tree planting ambition as a country, the youth are at the center of that. We want to create 200,000 green jobs only on that tree planting ambition. And you are the people writing it. And right here, I have my youth focal point from the ministry. And I want the youth from Kenya to make sure. I'm the one who spoke about the need for unity of purpose. I am here promising the young people that as your Cabinet Secretary, you have an open door policy in my office. We are not going to shove you off because the things we are talking about here, we have borrowed our environment from you people. And we must hand it over to you intact. And as we talk about forest and rangeland restoration, you are at the core of it. So for me, that greening Kenya, greening the world is what we must do. And as I was driving to this venue, I read something in some signpost as I was coming here. And it goes like, we have one planet, one fate, one chance. Let us not spoil our chance. Let us take it in our hands. Thank you very much.
Thank you so much. And I am astonished, everyone. We're on time. It's 12 o'clock. We have one last thing to do. You all have a post-it. Do write an answer to that question. You can stick it on the wall. This is the youth pavilion. Let's take ownership of it. And I will ask for one person from each group, so the moderator can let me know who is getting the prize from each of the 4 groups. And you can head up, you can send them up on stage. The most participatory person, the person who had the best thing to say, whatever that was, one person per group will get a pin or some stickers. And then we will be done. To close off the event, let's not lose tradition. If I say youth, you say youth, 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 Yay! Thank you so much, everyone, for being here. It has been amazing having this conversation with you. A round of applause to all of you.